How long does it take you to find your company-approved logos and templates when you need them? And how do you know that the version that you're using is the latest version? Do you sometimes just use your own versions of logos and templates because it's easier or faster? With using a feature in SharePoint Online called Organisational Assets Library, we can cure all of these problems and we can make templates and logos directly available to users in an easy and convenient way. My name's Richard and I'm from Arcible, and in this video we're going to take a look at configuring SharePoint Online organisational asset libraries. So you may be familiar in SharePoint Online with the concept of libraries. A library in SharePoint Online is a type of list that can be used to store files and content. And in this case we're talking about two types in particular. We're talking about templates such as Word document templates, PowerPoint templates, Excel templates, and we're talking about images, which might be your company logos or stock imagery that you've got available and licensed for use. So what a SharePoint Organisational Asset Library is it's a library that's specially configured to tell SharePoint Online that it contains assets that are used across your organisation, such as these logos and templates. And what happens is once we configure these libraries as organisational asset libraries, the Microsoft 365 service and SharePoint Online is going to cache these libraries in a special content delivery network, and it's going to make those available to users in ways that are going to make them much easier for them to use. So if we take the example of document templates, such as Word documents and PowerPoint presentations, then what happens is directly within the Office applications, users can see those organisational templates that you've published straight from the new document screen within the application, which means they don't have to go hunting around looking for them or trying to check whether they've got the right version. They can go to one place within the app every time and know that they've always got the correct company approved version. For images, it's a similar story, but this applies to the web. So if you've got users that are managing and creating SharePoint sites, then you can make your company logos and stock imagery or other types of images that you've got within the company available to the users for them to reuse and access directly from an image web part within a SharePoint site. If you're liking this content, then please hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to the channel and press the bell to receive notifications so that you can find out when we post new videos. We're going to head over to the PC now and we're going to show you how you can configure an organisational asset library, how you can configure both types, including documents and images, and we're going to show you also what it looks like for the end user and how they can use those templates in the Office apps and also access the images via SharePoint Online. Okay, so now that we're on the PC, we're going to be using PowerShell to configure our SharePoint Organisational Assets Library. So if you haven't already, let's open up PowerShell. If you've never used the SharePoint Online PowerShell module before, then we're going to need to get that installed. And so the way that we do that is using the install module PowerShell command. And once you've typed install module, we need to type the name of the module that we want to install. And the name of the module that we want to install in this instance is microsoft.online.sharepoint.powershell. Now, what you may have noticed is that I'm not running this PowerShell prompt as an administrator, and because of that, we also need to specify an extra parameter on the end here, which is scope, and then we'll follow that with the term current user. And what that's going to do is it's going to install the PowerShell module just for me, not system-wide, and it means I don't need to be running PowerShell as an administrator. After we hit enter, it's going to search the PowerShell gallery for the module, and if it finds it, then it's going to give us the option to install it. You might also get this warning similar to the one that's on the screen at the moment, which is just indicating that at the moment the PowerShell gallery repository isn't trusted, and are we sure we want to install this module? So we can hit Y for yes and then hit enter to proceed. Now the error that I've got there is just because the PowerShell module is already installed on this system, so you won't get an error message like that if you don't already have it installed, but now that we know that it's installed, we can carry on. So to get connected to SharePoint Online, we need to use the connect-spo service command. And once we've got that command up, we need to use the parameter -URL. And the URL that we need to specify is your SharePoint Online admin URL. And the format for this is going to be https:// the name of your Microsoft 365 tenant, so in our case that's going to be Arcible, and then what we need to do is suffix this with -admin, and then on the end it's sharepoint.com, and we'll hit enter just now, and what we should see as we are now is a prompt that's asking us to sign in. So at this point, you're going to need to sign in with a user that is a SharePoint Online administrator or a global administrator. So I'm going to enter my credentials now. Okay, and the command's returned successfully, so we're now connected to SharePoint Online. So before we start using the SharePoint Online PowerShell module to actually configure our organisational asset libraries, we need to check that we've got a few things ready. So in order to create an organisation assets library, first off, we need a document library that's going to act as the repository for our assets. Now, there's two types of asset library that we can create. We can create an image asset library, or we can create a template asset library. And the two can't be mixed, they need to be separate. Also, when we're creating organisational asset libraries in PowerShell with SharePoint, we can't target this to a specific subfolder within a library. It has to be pointed to the root of the library itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to head over to the browser now just to show you what we've got configured at Arcible that we use to make this work. Okay, so we've got two browser tabs open now just to show you the two different types of library that we've got. So on the screen right now, we've got our logos asset library, and this is simply a SharePoint document library list that we've created, and into there we've uploaded all of our Arcible company logos and graphics. Similarly, on the other tab, we've got another library that is called templates. And this is where we've got all of our document templates and sort of standard collateral that we want people to use across the company stored in there. Now, when you create these document libraries to be used, you need to make sure that the permissions on those are set to ensure that everyone is going to have access. Because once you've published the organisational asset library, you obviously want to make sure that everybody that needs access to it can access it to it. And the simplest way to do that is just to give everybody read access to it. Additionally, when we're working in PowerShell, we're going to need to know what the URLs are for these libraries. So it might make sense while we're here now just to note these down in Notepad or another document. So if we open up a Notepad window, and what we're going to do is we're just going to type in here templates, and we're going to copy the URL for our templates library. And then we're going to do the same again for our logos library. So now we've got those, we can close these browser tabs and we don't need them anymore. Okay, so now that we've got the information that we need, we're ready to start actually creating our organisational asset library with PowerShell. And the way we're going to do that is using the PowerShell command that's available for this. So if we start typing add-spo org, and then we can hit the tab key, and that should auto complete the command for us. So there we go, there's the complete command, add spo org assets library. Now from here, we need to start populating the information. So the first thing we need to do is provide the library URL. So that's with the dash library URL parameter. So we've already got our library URLs over here on the right in Notepad, but we do just need to make a slight change to them. So as you can see at the moment, when we copy the URLs from the browser, we've got the complete URL, and on the end here we've got this trailing bit of information which says forms all items ASPX. So we need to remove that because we just want the path to the library itself. So we'll take that and we will paste it into our PowerShell window. Okay, the next piece of information that we need to provide for this command is what type of asset library it is. And remember, we've got the two types that are available. And the way that we do this is with the org asset type parameter. So in PowerShell, if we type dash org asset, and then we can use the tab key to auto complete that. And then if we hit space, what we can now do is we can now use the tab key to cycle through the available options just to save us having to type it. So you'll see here the first option that pops up is image document library, and that's the asset library type that we're going to use for logo and image repositories. And the second one that we've got here, which is the type that we want to use for our templates library, is Office Template Library. So what you would now do is you would hit enter to submit that command, and that will start the process of creating that org asset library. Now, I'm not going to do that because we've already got this created, but what you would do is you would now repeat this process as many times as you need for the number of org asset libraries that you can create. Within any Microsoft 365 tenant, we can create up to 30 organizational asset libraries. So if you need to check how many you've got at the moment and whether you've got capacity to be able to create more, we can do this using the get SPO org assets library command. So I'm just going to run this now to show you what that looks like. Okay, and as you can see there in the output, within Arcible, we've got two libraries that we've created. One that is for our document templates and one that is for our logos. Now, once you've created these libraries for yourselves, you may find that it takes a little while for them to start taking effect and for them to start appearing for users. When we created them at Arcible, we found it took about half an hour before they started to appear. So let's take a look at places where they do appear and where users can actually take advantage of these libraries that we've created. Okay, so we've jumped over to SharePoint Online in the browser, and right now we're just looking at a SharePoint site that we've got called Arcible Technical, which is linked to an Office 365 group that we also use in Microsoft Teams. So from here, you can hit the edit button in the right hand corner, because what we want to do is we want to edit the appearance of this page. Okay, and in a suitable area, what we're going to do is we're going to hit the plus icon here to add a new web part to the page. And from the list of available web parts, we're just going to pick image. Now, what you'll see is immediately it pops up with the image picker, and we've got various options here to select from recent images, images that are already stored within the site, images that you may have on OneDrive for business, but you'll also notice this option in the middle here that says your organization. Now, if we select that, you'll see here that our logos and images organizational asset library is available here. So we can click on that, and within here we can see all of the images that we've published out from that organizational asset library. If we minimize this browser, and you can see that we've already got PowerPoint and Word open. So let's jump into Word first and take a look at that. So within Word, users have the option to select this new button from the left hand side, and from this page they can see a list of all of the templates that are available within Microsoft Word. Now, what you might also notice is that we've got this option here that says Arcible Limited, and if we click on that, you'll see that there's a folder shown called templates, and that is the same as the name that we gave our organisation assets library. So if we click on templates, you can see here that we've got a raft of Arcible document templates that we've published via that asset library to everybody in the business. So somebody can simply click on one of those documents and it's going to download the document template from Office 365, and I can start editing and creating a document using that template straight away. The same is true of PowerPoint. So if we flick over to PowerPoint just to show you what that looks like in there. So again, from the new document page, we've got the option here to select Arcible Limited. And if we select Arcible, again, we've got our templates library visible. We can select that and we can see that our Arcible PowerPoint presentation is available for us to select and create a new presentation from. So we hope you found that useful, and as you can see, it's really fast and easy to set up SharePoint organizational asset libraries. And because they're so useful for users, there's no real reason not to create them and to take advantage of the feature. If you'd like help with SharePoint organizational asset libraries, SharePoint Online, or any other aspect of Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Azure, then please get in touch with Arcible and find out how we can help you. If you visit arcible.com, you can find more information about us, what we can offer, and how to contact us. If you've liked this and you want to find out more information from us, other tips and videos, then please like the video and subscribe to the channel to find out when we post new content. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye bye.